Unlock the hidden messages of prosperity, healing, and transformation. Listen while you sleep. I never expected a single dream to change everything. The moment that echo hit my ears, I felt the energy shift in the room. It was more than just a sound, it was a calling. My heart raced as I stared at the flickering candle on my nightstand. What did it mean? A deep yearning wrapped around me, filling me with both doubt and excitement. Questions swirled in my mind like leaves dancing in a storm. I could almost taste the mystery in the air. Darkness was heavy, and silence thrummed like a heartbeat. It was an invitation, a whisper from the unseen world. I turned to the window, peering into the night. The moon hung low, casting silvery beams that seemed to pull at the corners of my soul. Nature spoke to me then, branches creaking softly as if sharing secrets only I could hear. My breath hitched. Was it just the wind or something more? Signs everywhere, and yet I remained lost, thoughts spiraled into a quiet chaos. What was I meant to uncover? Would this ethereal guidance bring me peace, or was it a trap? My hands trembled as I wrapped them around the warm mug of tea, letting the steam envelop my face. It was grounding yet intoxicating, as if the drink itself was infused with the essence of transformation. A sudden chill crept down my spine. I felt it, the raw energy crackling outside, beckoning me into a world I had never explored. I could almost hear the whispers growing louder, urging me to step forward. But fear gripped me. What if I opened that door and nothing awaited? What awaited me beyond the veil of sleep? Just then, a flash of movement outside caught my eye. Shadows flitted past the window, darting like dark butterflies, leaving me with an unsettling sense of anticipation. Was it a sign? Was I meant to follow? My mind raced, but my heart was barely holding on. Would I unveil the hidden messages of prosperity and healing, or plunge deeper into the mysteries of the unknown? The question hung heavy in the atmospheric stillness, an uninvited companion in the room. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. The stillness of the room became a comforting presence as I gathered my resolve. With an instinct I could neither explain nor resist, I moved toward the window, drawn by the ethereal glow that painted the world outside. I hesitated, the cool glass feeling like a barrier between the known and the unknown. My mind swirled with the enchantment of the night. Stepping outside felt like peeling away layers of my own skin, exposing the raw vulnerability that lay beneath. The air was thick with the scent of damp earth and the vibrant pulse of life. I breathed deeply, feeling a strange elation rise in my chest. Shadows danced around me, flickering between the trees, whispering the very secrets I sought to uncover. With each step into the darkness, images of past encounters flashed through my mind, moments where I had lingered too long in hesitation, believing I was unworthy of the journey ahead. But this air was charged with something different, an intimacy with the universe that felt like being embraced by an infinite force of love. Then, as if called to attention, I spotted a lingering flicker of light in the distance. It seeped from behind a cluster of ancient oaks, beckoning me like a lighthouse to a wayward sailor. Compelled by curiosity, I edged closer. Each discreet crunch of twigs beneath my feet felt like a song sung only for me. The light pulsed with the rhythm of a heartbeat, crescendoing in my chest. What awaited me beyond those trees? Perhaps a hidden message, perhaps a reflection of my deepest desires. My heart raced with anticipation. As I emerged from the thicket, the shimmering light revealed itself as a small gathering of ethereal beings, their forms almost translucent, as if drawn from the very fabric of the moonlight. They hovered and twirled with a grace that transcended the bounds of reality, and I felt their awareness wrap around me. They gestured toward a pool of water that mirrored the starry sky. I knelt beside it, entranced, the water shimmering as if holding the wisdom of countless generations. Ripples began to form, distorting the starry reflection, and as I watched, images began to emerge, moments of abundance, laughter, and profound healing. My heart swelled with recognition. I had lived these moments but had failed to acknowledge their power. In a single heartbeat, everything shifted. The ethereal beings leaned closer, their faces illuminated with an otherworldly light, and I felt a rush of knowledge flood my being. They were not here to guide me but to reveal the truth within myself, my own power to transform and heal, to manifest the abundance I desired. Questions bubbled up like an untamed spring. Would I have the courage to take the next steps? Would I embrace my own gifts or retreat back into the shadow of doubt? Then the vision faded, and for a brief moment, I felt utterly lost again, the chill creeping back in. The beings dissolved into sparks of light, swirling like fireflies until they faded into the vastness of the night. Alone once more, I gazed into the water, the still image now fractured. Would I carry this revelation back with me, or would it slip through my fingers like sand? Each question danced in my mind, the answers tantalizingly close yet forever elusive. As I pondered my next move, a minimalist thought emerged, echoing within: what hidden messages of prosperity, healing, and transformation still lie in the vast tapestry of my own journey, waiting for me to awaken to their presence? The question lingered, a soft melody reminding me that my exploration was just beginning. The darkness wrapped around me like a cloak as I pondered the fading vision. My heart drummed with uncertainty, each beat resonating with the stories untouched within me. The moon hung high, casting a silver path woven through the trees, a soft guide urging me to continue. I rose to my feet, driven by an instinct that told me the night was far from over. As I walked, I felt the cool earth beneath my feet, grounding my swirling thoughts. The world was alive, and I was a part of it. With every breath, I attempted to inhale the ancient wisdom that threaded through the air, my senses heightened. It was then I heard a sound that pulled my attention like an invisible thread, a low, harmonious hum resonating from somewhere nearby. I followed the melody, the notes intertwining like the branches of the trees above me. They drew me toward a clearing, where a grand oak tree stood sentinel. Its trunk twisted and gnarled, each contour a testament to a life lived through storms and seasons, resilience etched in its very bark. Beneath its shelter, the source of the hum shimmered, a circle of stones arranged with care, and at the center, a small fire flickered and danced, casting playful shadows against the trees. Seated around the fire were figures draped in flowing garments woven from what seemed to be dreams and moonlight. Their faces were obscured by hoods, yet an aura of warmth radiated from them. I slowed my approach, both mesmerized and hesitant, when suddenly, one of them turned, their gaze piercing through the darkness and locking onto mine. Come closer, their voice flowed like a stream, inviting yet laced with urgency. The flames speak of paths unseen. That I stepped into the circle, the warmth enveloping me. They gestured for me to sit beside the fire, where the flames danced with a life of their own, illuminating stories of ages past. As I settled in, I felt a magnetic pull from the stones that encircled us. They felt alive, pulsating with the energy of ages, whispering secrets of the earth. What brings you here, seeker? The figure asked gently, their eyes glinting like stars against the obsidian night. I am searching for signs, I replied, my voice slightly shaken. For revelations on my journey, for the hidden messages of prosperity, healing, and transformation. The figure nodded knowingly, extending their hands towards the fire. Then listen, for the flames reveal what the heart desires. What do you hear? I leaned closer, allowing the crackle of the fire to engulf my senses. The flames morphed into vivid images, painted with colors of desire and trepidation. I saw faces of friends and family, moments of deep connection intertwined with experiences of solitude. I saw glimpses of myself, laughing in joy, but then also faltering, overwhelmed by the weight of expectation. Each flicker seemed to narrate a chapter, and I found myself plunged deep in reflection. Fear is a path too often taken, isn't it? The figure mused, their voice a gentle tide washing over me. What would you create if fear were not a boundary but merely a fleeting shadow? The question reverberated in my mind, and suddenly, I was overwhelmed with a longing to break free from the chains of unease, to embrace the potential that lay dormant within. In that moment of clarity, an intuitive vision bloomed before me. I was not meant to wallow in what held me back but to leap forward, to dig beneath the surface and uncover the treasures planted deep within my soul. Yet, as quickly as it cascaded through me, the clarity faded, replaced by uncertainty. The flames flickered with a wistful hush, reminding me that insights often come veiled in shadows. What if I didn't know how to leap? What if I stumbled in my quest for these hidden messages? As the figures around the fire sat in serene silence, I realized something profound. The messages I sought would not simply be handed to me. They were woven into the fabric of my experiences, waiting patiently for the moment I would choose to embrace them fully. With my heart full of questions and yearning, I looked into the eyes of the figures. What must I do to listen deeper, to find what lay hidden beneath my fears? You must journey within, they replied harmoniously, their voices merging into a soothing chorus. Only by facing your shadows can you illuminate your truth. Trust the process, your awareness is the key. As the fire began to dim, I felt the weight of their words settle into my bones. I knew I would have to be brave, to listen to not only the warmth of the flames but the softer whispers of my own heart. The mystery of my journey was just unfolding, and I was left with questions that spun like galaxies in my mind. What lies in the depths of my own shadow? What truths are hidden within my heart, waiting for the courage to see the light? The answers danced just beyond reach, leaving me with a sense of lingering possibility as I prepared to step back into the darkness of the night, my spirit yearning to embark on this newfound quest of discovery. The night enveloped me as I stepped away from the fire and the figures cloaked in ethereal mystery. Stars glimmered above, shimmering like the very secrets I sought. Each step along the forest path felt imbued with purpose, my heart beating in tandem with the rhythm of the universe. Questions lingered in the air around me, ungraspable yet intoxicating, like the fragrance of night jasmine wafting through the trees that I continued along the path, seeking the stillness that often eluded me. Suddenly, the hum of the forest changed, it whispered a different tune, inviting but curious. I felt an urge to follow this new sound, an echo of water, trickling softly, guiding me deeper into the wooded embrace. Each sound beckoned me closer, the gentle rustle of leaves, the echo of my footsteps in harmony with nature's lullaby built a serene cocoon around me. After a moment, I found myself at the edge of a brook, its water glistening like liquid silver under the lunar gaze. I knelt beside it, entranced by the way it curled and spun, constantly in motion yet ever-present, an embodiment of flow and change. The sight stirred something profound within me, a silent understanding that healing often required the courage to embrace transformation and let go. Peering into the water's depths, I saw more than just my reflection. The brook revealed fragments of my life, joys, sorrows, moments of clarity tangled with despair. I was compelled to speak, my words merging with the song of the water. What do you know of prosperity? Of healing and transformation? The current slowed for a heartbeat, and then a gentle ripple surged forward, carrying with it a glimmer of insight. I realized the brook wasn't merely a passive observer, it was a vital participant in my journey, teaching me that true prosperity lies not in what we accumulate, but in the willingness to release our grip on what no longer serves us. Energy surged through me, it felt as though each teardrop from the surface of the stream catalyzed a new revelation. The water was a mirror reflecting my soul's evolution and the truths buried beneath layers of fear and doubt. What barriers had I built around my heart? What was I holding tight that needed to be washed away? The night deepened, and as I contemplated these questions, an unexpected movement caught my eye. A figure emerged from the shadows, a woman clothed in a gown of flowing silk that shimmered in hues of the night sky. Her hair floated like a veil of cascading stars, and her presence was both enchanting and grounding. Do not fear the water, she spoke softly, her voice resonating with a calming authority. It holds the wisdom you seek. Nature is alive, and her whispers are the echoes of your own knowing. That I brushed the water's surface with my fingertips, feeling the coolness seep into my skin. But how do I allow the messages to flow within me? How do I transform the fear that binds me? She smiled, a gentle warmth radiating from her. To embrace transformation, you must first acknowledge your fears. They are the guardians of your past. Honor them, understand their purpose, and then ask them to be your allies rather than your captors. The woman's words hung in the night like shimmering constellations, painting a path toward understanding. I closed my eyes, breathing deeply, envisioning a shimmering light pouring into my heart. I could almost perceive the shadows that clung desperately, obscuring the glimmers of my true self. As the runoff of translucent water cascaded over my hands, I imagined these burdens dissolving, merging into the brook and mingling with the earth. Will I ever truly learn to let go? I asked softly, feeling a stab of vulnerability rise within me. Uncertainty clenched at my heart, leaving me questioning if I was brave enough to face my shadows. You will, she promised, her voice woven with compassion. But the journey requires patience and an open heart. Each layer you uncover is a gift, a step closer to the person you are meant to be. Trust in the process. As she spoke, I felt pieces of my scattered confidence being stitched together, forming a tapestry of resilience. There was a stirring within me, a belief that perhaps I could indeed traverse the labyrinth of my own fears and emerge transformed. Yet, with each revelation came new questions. What lies beneath the surface of my mind, waiting to be acknowledged? What deeper emotions swirl within the shadows, ready to be embraced? The brook continued to murmur, and I rose from my kneeling position, brimming with questions and emboldened by the promise of the journey ahead. As I turned to leave, the woman's form softened into the night, her presence lingering like the softest echo of the water. With the moon high above, illuminating my path, I was left standing at the threshold between the known and the unknown, the familiar and the uncharted. I understood now that the journey to uncover the hidden messages of my soul was just beginning. A sense of purpose filled me, but with that came the weight of uncertainty. How far could I go if I chose to embrace both my light and shadow? What other mysteries await me in the depths of my journey? As I stepped away from the brook, the chill of the night air wrapped me like a shroud, both comforting and haunting. The woman's presence lingered in my mind, an open invitation to explore the innermost corners of my being. As I walked, the sounds of the forest enveloped me again, each rustle in the leaves a reminder of the secrets intertwined within the fabric of existence. With each footfall, I felt closer to an awakening, as if the world was aligning to present me with symbols and signs. Yet I understood that the path I tread was as twisted as the vines that clung to the trees. Doubt slithered in and out of my consciousness, following me like shadows, whispering, "What if you falter? What if you find only darkness?" Determined to confront the unknown, I pressed on, thinking of the brook and its fluid teachings. What did it mean to ride the currents of transformation? As if answering my silent inquiry, I noticed a soft glow seeping through the trees ahead. I quickened my pace, drawn to the light like a moth to a flame. Emerging into a small clearing, I found a circle of luminous stones, softly glowing with an ethereal light. They were arranged like an ancient symbol, a compass pointing toward the heart of the mysteries I sought. Curiosity piqued, I stepped closer, feeling the energy in the air shift around me, pulsating with an unseen power. I in the center of the stone circle, a smooth, flat rock awaited, adorned with carvings that spiraled outward in intricate patterns. I knelt beside it, enchanted by the visuals that danced beneath the moonlight. The carvings seemed alive, shifting with every glance, revealing snippets of stories long forgotten, tales of healing, transformation, prosperity, and loss. Gingerly, I placed my hand on the cool surface, feeling an electric charge course through me. Each pulse resonated with the heartbeat of the earth. I closed my eyes, and visions flooded my mind, a seed breaking through the soil, a butterfly emerging from its cocoon, and a river forging its path through stone. Each image echoed the brook's teachings. Growth is often born from struggle. What is it that you wish to uncover? A voice asked, soft yet resonant, emerging from the radiant glow surrounding the stones. It was not the woman from the brook, but a different being, an old man whose presence felt like the whisper of ancient wisdom. His hair flowed like silver tendrils, and his eyes sparkled with galaxies beyond comprehension. I wished to know how to transform my fear into prosperity and healing, I replied, my voice trembling with both resolve and hesitation. I want to unlock the messages hidden within me. He nodded, and the light within the stones flickered, casting shadows that danced like memories around us. To unlock that which lies within, you must face the depths of your fears. Sometimes, the greatest prosperity is born from the ashes of what you think you have lost. Do not shy away from the darkness, it too has wisdom to impart. As his words settled in my heart, I could feel the weight of old anxieties rising within me. I had accumulated fears like stones in my pocket, and the thought of releasing them terrified me. What if I am not strong enough? I whispered, the vulnerability of the question spilling forth unbidden. A gentle gust of wind swirled around the clearing, mingling with the scent of wet earth and blooming night jasmine. Strength is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to embrace it. The beauty of transformation comes from the act of daring to step through uncertainty. The stone beneath my hand pulsed warmly, as if granting me permission to excavate the layers of my soul. I wanted to shout my fears into the night, to cry out against the winds of doubt that howled within. But the old man only smiled, and I could see the kindness in his eyes. If you wish to grow, you must first make space for what you cannot control. Letting go is an art, he advised, his words wrapping themselves around me like a protective embrace. The landscape of my mind began to clear, I could feel the remnants of past traumas surfacing like bubbles in boiling water, each one begging for acknowledgement. Can I truly surrender to this process? How do I know what to release? I asked, internal confusion brewing alongside my emerging courage. Listen, for the answers lie not in words but in the spaces between, he replied, gesturing subtly toward the glowing stones. Commit to the journey of listening deeply to your heart. Each stone represents a facet of your being: love, loss, joy, grief. Each has lessons to teach you. As he spoke, the patterns on the stones became clearer, revealing connections not only to my fears but to the forgotten glories of my past. I envisioned myself surrounded by a kaleidoscope of colors, wrapping my heart in a mosaic of every emotion I had ever felt. Rising to my feet, I stepped back from the stone circle, breathless with the weight of realization. I sensed that the man was slipping away, blending back into the light of the stones. Remember, the journey unfolds at its own pace. Trust the process, only then will the hidden messages guide you. And with that, the luminous stones dimmed, their glow fading with the retreating figure of the old man. But a sense of clarity remained, awakening a new question within me: in allowing myself to embrace the fullness of my journey, how might I redefine what it means to thrive? What truths lie ahead as I commenced this indispensable exploration of self? I stood alone in the clearing, the faded glow of the stones softening into the embrace of the encompassing night. An unexpected stillness wrapped around me, it felt as if time had paused, allowing the universe to take a breath. Yet, within that tranquility, I sensed a burgeoning sense of direction pulling me forward. I stepped away from the stone circle and began wandering through the forest, the path illuminated by flickers of moonlight filtering through the branches. With each step, I remembered the old man's words, a chorus echoing within: listen deeply to your heart. I felt the forest around me as an ancient sentry, holding secrets within its roots and boughs, each rustle speaking in tongues I longed to decipher. As I moved deeper into the woods, I became acutely aware of the layered essence of life surrounding me, every droplet in the dew, every chirping crick echoing a profound narrative of existence. The air grew thick with an intoxicating scent of pine mingling with damp earth. It seduced my senses and nudged me to pause. Suddenly, I caught sight of a moonlit glade, a small grove that appeared untouched by time. In the center stood a solitary tree, towering magnificently, its branches stretched wide like open arms ready to embrace the heavens. Unlike the others, which stood still, this tree swayed gently, alive with a rhythm all its own. Approaching cautiously, I noticed that the tree bore small fruits, ripe and vibrant, their colors shifting under the moonlight, like suns and moons caught in a perpetual dance. Drawn with a magnetic force, I reached out to touch one of the fruits. It was warm beneath my fingers, pulsating much like the stones in the clearing. Underneath the surface, an energy seemed to hum, a vibration attuned to the depth of the universe's frequency. What are you? I whispered to the tree, half expecting a response. The moment I asked, a warm breeze swept through the glade, rustling the leaves and stirring an ancient sense of belonging within me. I closed my eyes, allowing the sound to envelop my thoughts, and for a brief moment, I felt connected to the very essence of life. When I opened my eyes, spotlights of vivid memories burst forth like fireworks, at childhood spent climbing trees, playing, laughing, the sense of freedom in each leap, each scrape, an alchemy turning turmoil into joy. As the memories washed over me, I heard the gentle murmur of a voice within. Every fruit holds a story, the voice whispered, a melodic blend of the past and the present. What you choose to harvest will reveal the path ahead. Intrigued, I surveyed the tree's bounty. Each fruit seemed to shimmer with possibility, yet something gnawed at my core. What if I chose the wrong one? What if the fruits were filled with memories I wasn't ready to confront? Gathering my courage, I reached for a fruit that glowed with a gentle, soothing light, its color like the dawn, a representation of renewal. As I plucked it from the branch, I felt a shift, a surge of energy coursing from the very heart of the tree through my veins. Suddenly, visions cascaded before me, unearthing buried memories of compassion and joy I had forgotten. But with them came echoing specters of my doubts and past regrets, swirling in a maelstrom, contorting my perception. Let it out, the voice urged softly, urging me to breathe through the tide of my emotions. Transformation comes when the heart learns to integrate both joy and sorrow. With every breath, I allowed the waves of emotion to flow, each exhale releasing weight I never knew I carried. In the depths of my release, I recognized a paradox: the richness of life is woven from both the tapestry of light and shadow. As the intensity shifted, my heart began to settle. The air hummed with a sacred silence, reverberating with all I had learned thus far. The stillness felt pregnant with potential, and I understood that my exploration continued, enveloped by the comforting embrace of the night. Will I be ready to harvest the lessons this fruit holds? I thought, contemplating the unknowns waiting in the shadows of my heart. The tree's branches swayed gently, and before me, the landscape shifted into a Visiona path shrouded in mist, twisting and turning, the silhouette of mountains barely visible on the horizon. I knew that this path represented the journey ahead. I closed my eyes again, absorbing the present moment, feeling empowered by the choices yet to be made, reminding myself that I was not alone. That I in the depths of the stillness, I pondered, if every fruit I choose has the power to reveal deeper layers of myself, how do I navigate the uncertainty of those choices? What awaits me at the end of this winding path? As I ventured deeper into the forest, the moon above continued to guide my path like a sentinel of light. Shadows danced between the trunks, while the symphony of night creatures created a hauntingly beautiful score, awakening an ancient rhythm that resonated within me. My heart still carried the warmth of the fruit I had chosen, its energy intertwining with the very essence of my being. I was acutely aware that I had unlocked a door, but the room beyond remained shrouded in mystery. The night air felt electric, tingling against my skin, urging me onward. I traversed a narrow trail flanked by towering ferns, their fronds whispering secrets of ages past. In the distance, the rhythmic sound of flowing water beckoned, a melody I followed like a haiku written in sound. Before long, I found myself standing at the edge of a creek, its waters shimmering under the moonlight, inviting and alive. The water danced over polished stones, leaving frothy swirls behind, a reminder of nature's eternal flow. That I knelt by the creek, dipping my fingers into the cool water. As I watched the reflections ripple, I sensed another layer of my journey unfolding. The soft voice returned, a gentle breeze carrying whispers of wisdom. Flow like water, find strength in surrender. The currents that shape you are often unseen. Relishing this moment, I closed my eyes once more, letting the water's energy pulse through me. Each drop held stories, both of the earth and of my own emotions. I saw visions of moments where I had resisted change, clutching tight to what was familiar, trapping myself in cycles. Yet, in the gentle caress of this creek, I felt the power of letting go. The water flowed, unencumbered, embracing each curve and bend in its path. Am I willing to surrender to the unknown? I pondered, the question echoing in the stillness of the night. The creek offered no direct answer, only the reassuring sound of its movement, a reminder that life is not stagnant. As I continued to contemplate my connection to the water, a flicker caught my eye. Low at the creek's edge, a group of fireflies began to emerge, casting tiny orbs of light that danced above the surface. Drawn closer, I observed their radiant patterns, a beautiful language of luminescence. I felt that each flicker held its own meaning, a coded message just for me. With heightened curiosity, I extended my hand, allowing one firefly to land delicately on my palm. Its tiny glow pulsed harmoniously, sending warmth radiating through my skin. "What do you wish to reveal?" I invited, my voice barely a whisper against the sound of the water's whispering song. That I in that intimate moment, my mind flooded with images of goals unfulfilled, dreams overshadowed by doubt, and connections that could have flourished but faltered instead. The firefly flickered gently, almost as if urging me to embrace the light within those moments of loss. I was reminded that each flicker represented resilience, the tenacity to rise again, the beauty found in fleeting instances that would soon return to darkness. Suddenly, vibrant memories ignited in my heart, moments of laughter shared with friends under a starlit sky, joyous celebrations, and unexpected encounters that changed the trajectory of my life. I realized they were all captured in the firefly's glow, a part of me that could shine brightly if I permitted it. And in this dance of shadows and light, I was confronted with another realization. What else have I hidden or overlooked? My exploration of self had merely scratched the surface. Feeling emboldened, I took a deep breath and blew softly onto the firefly, watching as it took off into the night sky, a luminous speck against the canvas of constellations. "Guide me then," I said, feeling the spark of hope lodged within my heart. "Help me to unearth what else lies buried in the depths of my soul." As I rose from the creek, the forest seemed to lean closer, listening intently for my next move. Each rustling leaf, each flickering light, echoed back my question, drawing me further into the embrace of the wild. Approaching a ridge overlooking the vast expanse of trees and valleys below, I felt a profound sense of connection to all that surrounded me, heartbeat of life thrumming in unison with my own. Yet, amidst this beauty, a flicker of trepidation danced on the edges of my consciousness. How many hidden messages lay scattered along the pathways I had yet to tread? What transformation awaited me in unveiling the me true self locked away beneath fears and expectations? With these questions echoing in my heart, I stood gazing into the writhing shadows, feeling the call of the unknown resonating powerfully still. My journey was far from over. Instead, it had unfurled into a tapestry rich with potential. What secrets might the forest reveal if I leaned in closer and listened more intently? How might I learn from what is hidden in plain sight? As I stood on the ridge, the forest opened before me like a sacred book, each tree a page filled with untold stories and lessons waiting to be discovered. The night air swirled around me, vibrant with the singing of crickets and the distant call of owls, interwoven with the rustle of branches in a gentle breeze. This was more than just a landscape, it was alive, resonating with energies that beckoned me to dive deeper into the mysteries guarded by the shadows. With renewed determination, I ventured down the ridge into the heart of the forest. The path wound through phoenix ferns and thick underbrush, each step bringing me closer to the pulse of the earth beneath my feet. I was no longer simply a wanderer, I was a seeker, ready to unravel the essence of the messages waiting to unfurl before me. Suddenly, a flicker of movement caught my eye, and there, nestled against a tree trunk, was a fox, its coat like liquid flame in the moonlight. It stared at me with curious eyes, an ancient knowing reflected in its gaze. The fox was a symbol of cunning and insight, a creature that thrived on intuition. I felt an urgent need to connect with this spirit guide, longing for the wisdom it could impart. "Why do you watch me so?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper, entwined with the breath of the forest. The fox tilted its head, as if weighing my question, and in that moment, I felt a surge of understanding. Perhaps it wasn't only the answers I sought, but the questions themselves that held the key to my transformation. The forest, in all its glory and mystery, was challenging me to become an active participant in my journey rather than a passive observer. Each step I took seemed to urge me toward deeper insights. The foliage thickened, branches arching overhead like old friends reaching out to embrace me. I paused upon seeing a clearing adorned with shimmering stones glistening like stars fallen to the earth. Their beauty held my breath captive, each one seemed to pulse with its own frequency, each hue reflecting a different aspect of my own spirit. As I collected stones, clutching them in my palms, vivid visions enveloped me. I found myself in familiar spaces, my childhood home, vibrant classroom settings, laughter shared across dining tables. Yet alongside this nostalgia, I felt fragments of energy deeply entwined with moments of sorrow and confusion. Every stone represents a piece of me, I whispered, allowing the weight of these realizations to ground me, and then, a peculiar insight dove into my consciousness. Each stone carried not only memories but potential. What if the darker elements of my past, the pain, the fear, were not just weights, but symbols of strength waiting to be acknowledged? Was my resistance to facing them the true obstacle on this journey? Turning to the fox, who had gracefully joined me at the edge of the clearing, I shared my revelation. What if I unite the light and dark within me? The fox blinked slowly, affirming my thoughts with its unwavering gaze. With my heart pounding, I made a choice. I began arranging the stones into a circle, symbolizing wholeness and unity. As the final stone clicked into place, I felt a rush of energy. A gentle breeze revived me, intertwining symbolism and spirit. This circle served as a sacred space where the duality of my journey could coexist, the light and shadow together illuminating my path forward. Drawing back, I stared into the stone circle, the flickers of moonlight dancing over its surface, a vivid reminder of the dance of life itself. What other parts of me remained scattered in the shadows? I pondered. How else can I weave these threads into my tapestry? Dusk unfolded into a tranquil silence as the fox trotted into the shadows, leaving me both solitary yet interconnected with this profound moment. I remained rooted in the aftermath of this revelation, contemplating the beauty of navigating through both the joyous and sorrowful threads of existence, and as I prepared to rise, a haunting intuition washed over me. If the next chapter of my journey required a more profound surrender. Surrendering not just to the unknown but to all that I inherently am, the complex interplay of my thoughts, emotions, and untapped potential. The lingering question hung in the stillness of the night: how do I transform what is hidden and daunting into a source of empowerment? As the forest held its breath, I ventured forward into the darkness, ready to embrace whatever truths awaited amidst its embrace. The trail twisted deeper into the heart of the forest, and with each step, a gentle hum vibrated through the air, resonating in harmony with my thoughts. I felt as if the very essence of the earth beneath my feet was speaking directly to me, guiding me to uncover further layers of understanding. The trees towered over me like sentinels, their rough bark and lush canopies echoing centuries of wisdom, waiting patiently for me to attentively listen. In this sacred space, I paused, allowing my senses to absorb the richness surrounding me. The air was thick with the scent of damp earth and blooming wildflowers, inviting me to inhale deeply, as though the very act of breathing offered a communion with the universe itself. With every breath, I envisioned drawing in clarity and wisdom while releasing the weight of my uncertainties. Suddenly, a soft rustle in the underbrush startled me. As my gaze shifted, a gentle deer stepped into view. Its shy demeanor was counterbalanced by piercing dark eyes filled with an ancient intelligence. For a moment, it felt as though our souls intertwined, recognizing a shared vulnerability. I approached slowly, acknowledging this spirit's grace. What do you seek in the depths of this forest? I whispered, my question delicate, as if uttered to a fragile dream. Peering back at me, the deer moved closer, a reminder that sometimes vulnerability beckons us to the knowledge we seek. In those profound eyes, I felt the energy of compassion, a nudge toward awareness of my fears and hopes. What if I opened myself to the richness of experiences without clinging to the outcomes? Could the deer guide me on this journey toward acceptance? As the deer retreated into the shadows, I felt compelled to follow, trusting in the instinct that led me deeper into the forest. With rapid steps, I ventured into a realm I had not yet explored, where time felt suspended. An ethereal melding of twilight colors captivated my senses. I stumbled upon a hidden brook, its water sparkling like silver under the starlit sky, singing a soothing melody as it danced over smooth pebbles. Captivated by the serene beauty, I knelt at the water's edge, willing to surrender my doubts, allowing the current to wash over me. I dipped my fingers into the cool water, feeling its refreshing energy trace the lines of my palms. In that moment of immersion, I envisioned releasing all the burdens I had carried, the shame, the fears, and the unanswered questions. As I reflected upon the flowing water, a thought sparked within me. Each drop within the brook mirrored a potential part of myself. I had spent so long fixating on the heaviest stones, while the lighter components, the joy, the lessons, the transformation, had often slipped through my fingers. Could I learn to flow like the brook, embracing both the heavy and light facets of my existence, the brook began to sing louder, inviting resonance into my soul. Perhaps it was not about abandoning my struggles but embracing them as part of the journey, letting the waters carry the weight when necessary, rather than drowning in the depths of despair. Emerging from the introspection, I gained clarity. My thoughts shifted toward the interconnectedness of life, the way challenges could shape resilience, showing me the hidden pathways to strength and insight. Was I willing to step fully into the stream of existence, letting its currents guide me toward personal growth? With newfound resolve, I collected a smooth stone from the brook, holding it in my palm. I felt the vibrations of all the energies that flowed through me like the water, creative, loving, challenging. This stone would serve as a reminder that life is not merely about seeking light but also about honoring the darker currents that feed into the tapestry of my existence. As I stood by the brook, grappling with these reflections, a flicker of uncertainty lingered at the edge of my consciousness. How could I fully embrace all aspects of myself while navigating my path forward? What if the flowing stream of life taught me to release control, urging me to trust in the process? Instead, the night deepened, and as I ventured back onto the forest path, each step pulsed with renewed intention. I carried the stone as a token of this exploration, feeling its weight as both comfort and challenge. The shadows around me danced with the flickering light of my thoughts, and as I moved toward the unknown, I couldn't help but wonder about the further revelations that lay ahead. What truths dance just beyond the reach of my awareness? How do I cultivate the strength and wisdom to embrace the complexities of my human experience, and what lessons continue to await discovery in the depths of this mystical forest? As I traversed deeper into the forest, I felt an awakening stir within me, a whisper of clarity emerging from the murky depths of uncertainty. Each moment pulsed with possibility, as though the very trees, with their gnarled roots and majestic branches, held fragments of the wisdom I sought to uncover. I could feel an invisible thread connecting me to everything around me, an intricate web of life vibrating with shared experiences and unseen energies, traversing between realms. It became clear that the journey was less about mapping a destination and more about embracing each revelation as they arrived. The trail twisted like a labyrinth, where every turn brought forth a new understanding, a lesson nestled within the shadows of my doubts and fears. I sensed I was nearing the culmination of my journey, a spiritual crescendo that pulsated in harmony with the heartbeat of the earth. It was then, upon stepping into a clearing bathed in the soft glow of moonlight, that I encountered an altar of stones, each radiating a unique glow, a kaleidoscope of colors reflecting the soul's myriad emotions. I approached cautiously, drawn to the merging energies that tingled beneath my fingertips. Each stone seemed to resonate with my heart's frequency, stirring echoes of memories long buried. Kneeling before this sacred assembly, I placed my hands upon the cool, smooth surface of the stones, seeking guidance. The air thickened with anticipation, and I murmured my desires into the night. What hidden messages of prosperity, healing, and transformation lie within me? What must I release to step fully into my authentic self? As if answering my call, a soft wind began to swirl around me, wrapping me in an embrace of the universe itself. The energy shuffled through the stones, and I closed my eyes, surrendering to the surge of wisdom flowing through me. I was transported to vivid places, moments of laughter with friends, inspiring encounters, and the warmth of love that had woven the tapestry of my life. In contrast, shadows loomed larger than I'd imagined, fears of unworthiness, wounding disappointments, and paths not taken, all surfacing in a dance of dichotomy. When the vision subsided, I reopened my eyes and found myself enveloped by a soft luminescence. Emerging at the edge of the clearing was the figure of a woman, ethereal and radiant, dressed in flowing garments that shimmered like constellations against the backdrop of the night. Her presence was a manifestation of the essence of love and nurturing, embodying the very qualities I yearned to embrace. "Welcome, seeker," she spoke, her voice resonating through the atmosphere as if carrying the weight of countless centuries. "You stand at a crossroads, a moment of profound significance. Here you will shape your understanding of self and decide what truths you will weave into the fabric of your existence." "Who are you?" I asked, my heart racing with both trepidation and anticipation. "I am the embodiment of your inner wisdom," she replied, a gentle smile playing upon her lips. "I am the guidance of the lessons you've learned, the light you strive to embody, and the strength you often overlook." It is time to honor both your light and shadow as essential parts of your journey. Her words resonated deeply within me, rippling through the chambers of my heart. But how do I reconcile the light and dark? How can I embrace them both? I inquired, longing for a clearer understanding. She gestured toward the altar of stones, inviting me to look closer. Transformation comes from recognizing that both the light and shadow have vital roles in your story. Each emotion, each experience, joy or sorrow, carries the seeds of growth within it. By embracing them, you awaken to your true power, allowing abundance to flow freely within your life. As her message sank in, a breathtaking panoramic vision unfolded before meth colors mingling, the energies intertwining. I could finally see that I had been holding tightly to my fears, confused by their weight, mistaking them for truths rather than expressions of an evolving journey. Embracing my shadows did not diminish my light. Instead, it illuminated the path ahead, guiding me toward knowledge and healing. With every breath, I felt the boundaries dissolve, the fears, the doubts, the memories, and regrets blending seamlessly into the fabric of my being. I understood now that prosperity is not only found in tangible wealth but in the richness of experiences, emotions, and connections shared along the way. My essence was a harmonious melody composed of all these threads, resonating with a powerful truth I had long sought. That I closed my eyes, centering myself in this realization, and allowed the warmth of the earth to cradle me. I felt a deep, visceral connection to everything around me. The stones glowed brighter, reflecting my newfound understanding of wholeness. The woman's voice caressed me, "Find peace in the embrace of all that you are. In unity with your contrasting truths lies the power you seek." Feeling a surge of confidence and clarity, I opened my eyes once more. With each heartbeat, I poured my gratitude into the universe, remembering that transformation is not a destination but a continuous journey of awakening. I stepped back from the altar, feeling a metamorphosis bubbling within me, an evolution toward authenticity. As I turned to leave the clearing, I felt the shadows retreat, yielding to the illumination of my present. With the forest alive in resonance with my heart, I stepped forward, equipped with the wisdom garnered from my voyage. The moon, a radiant beacon above, cast a silvery path, leading me toward the horizon where a new dawn awaited, a dawn filled with possibilities, healing, and the promise of uncharted paths. At that moment, an echo of truth reverberated through my being. I was not defined by my shadows or limitations but by my willingness to embrace both. And as the winds whispered through the trees, carrying my intention forward into the vast unknown, I realized that the journey was the treasure itself, guiding me home to the light that resides within us all. That I walked onward, heart open, spirit soaring, ready to weave my tale anew, a symphony of light and shadow, propelling me toward a life overflowing with love and possibility. For in the intertwining dance of these contrasts lies the essence of our being, a profound reminder that we are here not merely to survive but to flourish. We are an intricate tapestry, woven of 1,000 threads, each one essential to the masterpiece of existence, and in this journey, I discovered the ultimate truth. It is in embracing our entirety that we find the path to true freedom, a sacred communion with the universe and the realization that we are all, always, enough.